You are about to listen to a Little Sombrero Studios podcast. My name is Emily. I'm a director and editor and actress here at Little Sombrero Studios, and I'm about to talk to you about our latest project, the Shopping Cart Diaries. Just to start off a little bit about our production company, Little Sombrero was started in the beginning of March of 2015, and the name we stole from something that we were actually wearing that day. In the beginning of March, the other partners of Little Sombrero, Mariana and Sarah, and I were all studying Mexico's government in our comparative politics class, and so to be the whimsical, weird people that we are, I brought us a stack of Little Sombrero party hats, and we wore them around school for a day, and thus it stuck. We are Little Sombrero, and we mainly chose the name Little Sombrero because at the time we weren't sure if we were going to do a weird thriller horror film where Little Sombrero would have been like a slightly sinister sounding name as like a joke, like haha, we're Little Sombrero, or if we were going to go with this quirky film idea, which we actually ended up doing, an indie film where it's like, oh, Little Sombrero, that's adorable. So our film is the Shopping Cart Diaries, and what that film is about is it's about a boy named Aaron who works in a grocery store, and essentially his entire life revolves around working at the grocery store. He lives at home with his mother. You know, there's not much to his life except for his coworker Mariana, who he's infatuated with. And when Mariana drops the bombshell that she's moving, Aaron gets this drive to follow her. You know, he's so connected to her. He's in love with her, so he follows her to her new location where she's moving. But he does it all in a shopping cart because, well, Aaron's life is very centered around the whole idea of working in retail. He's boxed in by the life of retail, so he rides his shopping cart to go search after his girl. And also, when we were doing a quirky film, you know, a rom-com or a slapstick comedy is all based on action, so why don't we morph the two, but under an independent film style, and add this really quirky element of a shopping cart. You know, when we were researching what do quirky films encompass, a lot of the times it said, in order to keep indie films being timeless, the housing stock or the car stock that's used in the movies for props are actually old or vintage, either buildings or cars, so that the character itself seems out of place and out of time. Giving it a timeless feel. So we are like, all right, you know, shopping carts have looked the same for most of modern history, so why don't we use a shopping cart, you know? The shopping cart just doesn't change. It stays the same. It's familiar. And just going back to the whole idea of a shopping cart, this was an idea I was toying around with for months. I would joke that I had this great idea for an indie film, you know. We were going to do this thing called the Shopping Cart Diaries, where a man was just going to go find himself in a shopping cart and travel the world searching for himself. And my two partners were like, you're crazy. I mean, this idea is stupid, honestly. Nobody's going to buy into that. We're never going to do the Shopping Cart Diaries. Well, we sat on a panel with other groups in our class, and when we presented this idea as like a joke, they all stopped and said, no, you're seriously doing it. And we all looked at them like, you're crazy, and I was in my head like, haha, yes, I'm finally getting my dream. So we started working on the Shopping Cart Diaries. Originally we wanted our character Aaron to be named Jake and played by a white lead, a very tall, awkward white lead, who would have been really funny in the whole shopping cart sense because he's just so big and so tall and so out of place, but us being amateurs and us casting our own friends, sometimes friends have falling outs and actors get cut in the results. So we replaced our white lead Jake with an Asian American lead Aaron. And Aaron really defies social conventions because in the media, Asian Americans are portrayed as very smart, studious, strict parents, cheap when it comes to their finances, terrible drivers, quick-tempered people, and Aaron Wong, our lead, is none of that. He is just a very gentle-minded, determined young man who wants to find the love of his life, doesn't really want to think about it, he just acts. He's very impulsive, which is different from the Asian stereotype who, thinks very rationally, thinks by the textbook point of view of how life should be. So Aaron really defies that, because in the sense how a white actor can play whatever role they want, essentially Aaron Wong is saying, I as an Asian American actor can play whatever role I want. I'm going to be this comedic role in a indie film that has heart, because I can prove that as an Asian American, my race doesn't dictate the type of character I play. And so what even makes our story more interesting is that to add humor to this, and for the fact that there were slim pickings for casting for parental roles, our character of Aaron technically has a white Jewish mother, played by yours truly, where to get that motherly voice I spoke in a New York accent inspired by my grandmother, who really doesn't speak like that, but in my head she does. So to give that concerned motherly sound to a teenage role. And Aaron's white mother, also adds purpose to his journey. Besides the fact that he's chasing after Mariana, his love, Aaron's mother wants him to have a purpose in this and to do something about his journey and to really feel like he's putting his life aspirations into something tangible, into something real that he can make of himself. So she hands him a journal that we purposely chose, a journal with the "Oh, the Places You'll Go" by Dr. Seuss cover, because Aaron he knows that he's going to eventually reach Mariana some way, somehow, but he doesn't really necessarily know how he's going to get there or what's going to lie along the way. And that's where the comedy lies out, is the unexpected. Driving a shopping cart's unexpected in its own right, but the antics that he might cross while he's driving across too, and the fact that he's journaling his journey there. He's so serious about riding in a shopping cart. That's funny in its own right. Like, he's so serious, but I'm going to laugh at it because this is just hysterical. So the "Oh, You Places You'll Go" is also very important because it's very inspirational. And Oh, the Places You'll Go" is a very inspirational book. You're off to great places, you're off and away. I mean, it's from the first page, you feel that, like, there's something in it for you, and that's what we want in this film, that, you're going to feel great and uplifted with your own self-being after viewing this. So, when we filmed the Shopping Cart Diaries, none of us own a fancy smancy camera, so we decided to film it on the best smartphone we could find, on a Samsung Galaxy. Showing that the camera quality necessarily isn't the best, but it was the best that we can do. And in an attempt to stabilize our footage, we even played around with using a selfie stick as a monopod, which in some respects ended up being great, in some respects just ended up being a distraction for crazy little selfies. But it was a good try. I mean, we wanted to incorporate modern technology into the process somehow. And so as we're filming, a lot of the challenges that we face, I think, were mainly audio issues. We don't own camera hookups. We probably should have looked into ordering one from Amazon for about $10 US. So we do understand that the audio waves in and out from being loud to soft, back up in pitches, and sometimes it might not match up necessarily because cell phone cameras do tend to lag. Cell phones handle many different things at many different times, but we're not blaming it. We are still very happy with the product. And so we edited the whole thing on iMovie 11, which isn't the most advanced version of iMovie, but it does its job. And we made sure that we used royalty-free music from purpleplanet.com. So shout out to Josh in our media studies class for giving us that tip. What we noticed a lot is towards the end of our process, when we were getting frustrated with the editing, we really looked to other groups for help. Not to help us per se with the editing, but for sources of where we could get certain fonts of text, or how do we align things on screens, where do we get our music, our stings, because the iMovie stings and music is very limiting, and they pretty much all sound the same to me, at least. So we opted to go for music from outside that realm, and we picked uplifting ambient strumming music where, like, you can snap to it. It's cute, it's quirky, it matches in sync when you see Aaron's infatuated with Mariana and you see close-ups of Mariana. The music is very, like it slows down a little bit, it gets a little cute, like, oh, we're highlighting Mariana's cuteness, she's not in typical, like, romantic, you might see her as, like, a sexual figure, but she's rather just, like a cute teenage romance, and it changes the dynamic of the whole movie. And then as Aaron is, starting his journey, running away from the sadness of Mariana moving, when she expresses that she's moving and drops this huge bombshell, we slow down her audio, and we stop the music on Aaron's shots, and then when he starts running away, it's a very sad tone music to kind of, one, add a little bit of comedic touch with our music, and two, really elevate his sense of emotion, because one of the difficulties of working with an Asian American actor is that a lot of the times, just naturally, he looks very happy, and we needed something to make him feel and look more depressed, as bad as that sounds. And then as he's packing up, we bring the music back up to, the strumming with a building drum beat where it's very compelling, and then to add that comedic element, his mother with her cough really just interrupts the sound again, and then just the natural noises that we heard in our filming, we actually kept them in there because a lot of them are very funny, like the squeaks on his sneakers, sometimes the rolling wheels of the cart. It's all natural noises, it's the diegetic sounds that we want in our scene. Sneaker squeaks are funny, coughs from a mother are funny. It's natural sounding, and the thing about an indie film is that when you use one quirky element, as we learned in the process, you can't make the rest of the world seem so fake or so crazy, and that there need to be somewhat real elements in your world that, an audience can only handle so much quirkiness, so that's why we only use the shopping cart as our center of quirkiness. And then when it came to editing the process, I think our biggest concern was playing with the footage that we had. We used mainly close-ups and medium shots. There were a couple of long shots in there for when we rolled the shopping cart, but that was really just to get the best movement of the shopping cart. But when we really want to focus on character, it's mostly medium shots and especially close-ups. We loved working with close-ups in this. Excuse me, Mama's got a cough. The close-ups really served a great purpose for all our characters. With Mariana, it showed how beautiful she was. With Aaron, it showed how shocked he was. Because once again, he had a little bit of difficulty showing emotion. But again, we really just wanted this Asian stereotype to be gone, so we used him. And as some people might see his lack of emotion as a negative aspect, we think it adds to the comedy of it. It's like, I really have to pay attention to these characters, really see what's happening, but yet his blank stare, it's cute, it's charming, it's adorable, it makes you laugh, We're not a true comedy where we go out of our way to make you laugh. We're like an episode of Seinfeld. We realize that, normal life is funny, and why don't we run with that concept? It's something that, we're three really good friends, Sarah, Mariana, and I, and three of us, when we're together, we just laugh and have a good time, and how can we bring that type of intimate relationship to our student film? The Shopping Cart Diaries in total, as we've come to a conclusion, is really not meant to be longer than 25 minutes. We do realize an idea like this can really only work in a short film. So that's why we tried to pack in as much content as we could in our 2 minutes. And we really hope that we showed the best that we could, and we actually do plan on finishing out the Shopping Cart Diaries as a whole. Little Sombrero Studios will not die, I promise you that. We hope to make more crazy, weird films. We're very much inspired by short filmmakers like ourselves. Mad props to the people that made Four Eyes. It's a great coming-of-age movie that really inspired us. We watched a lot of other films. Really, Rubber. Rubber's a great example of why we did the thing we did. I mean, a movie about a homicidal tire, where do you come up with that concept? But these people had fun with it, and even though they took their art seriously, you can tell that they had fun with their movie. and we had fun with ours. Most definitely. There are, the average kinks that you get while producing a film, but nothing too terrible. Everything that we did, we just really want people to know that we enjoyed doing it, and we are proud of the product that we made. So I hope you enjoyed the Shopping Cart Diaries as much as we did. We love showing off our different camera shots. We're big fans of the close-up. We love our close-ups. Maybe it's just a product of us being in the selfie generation, but we just hope you enjoy it as much as we really did, and I hope one day you get the crazy idea to travel the world in a shopping cart, because who knows what it will lead you to. I mean, in the words of Aaron Wong, we have to go from here all the way to Davie, and whether or not your Davie's lying in the next town over or 100 miles away, the creative process goes on there. We just wanted to capture life in a funny way, and we did so. So thank you once again. Also, a big thank you to Tina Stocklosa, our teacher, for showing us the ropes in film. I mean, this was our first real go at film, so we're proud of what we did. We would totally do it again for our own fun, not for a grade this time. And big thanks to everyone in our class for being really supportive of the idea and making my personal dream a reality. So as I always tell my group members, Emily 1, Mariana, Sarah 0. See you later.